Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the November 10th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is Jeff Carson. I'm going to be serving as chair tonight. I'll make a couple of quick introductions before we start the meeting. Here in the chambers with me tonight are Commissioner Dwayne Beth and Commissioner Aaron Ward. Joining us online, we have the following commissioners present. Commissioner Mark Mueller, Commissioner Jim Ernst, Commissioner Beverly Easterwood, and Commissioner Brandy Armstrong. Did I miss anyone? Okay, don't believe so. And then also with us tonight, here in the chambers, we have Michael Farley with the Unified Government Legal Counsel, along with staff from the Unified Government Planning and Urban Design Department, Rodney Lucas, Byron Toy, and Rose Morse, who will be announcing the cases this evening. So with that, I'll turn it over to Rose Morse, who will read the opening statement and how we'll conduct tonight's meeting.
Welcome, everyone, to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Members of the board are participating remotely by Zoom or present in the commission chamber. Mr. Jeff Carson is serving as chairman this evening. Please note the following instructions for the meeting. If you're joining by Zoom, please make sure you have an appropriate background. For those members of the public attending the meeting virtually this evening, please use the raise your hand feature if you want to speak on an application. If you're present in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone at the front of the room when your application is called. After the chairman recognizes you, please state your name and address and make your comments. If you're having issues getting into the Zoom meeting, please see the Planning and Urban Design website at wykokck.org. Proper meeting decorum is expected of all participating in the meeting, and if anyone fails to act properly, may be removed from the meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue a meeting if any improper behavior occurs, which prevents the uninterrupted conduct of business. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. First, the applicant will be given 15 minutes to make an opening statement explaining the proposal, which includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the board may then address questions to the applicant. Any persons wishing to speak in favor will be recognized and allowed to do so at that time. Then those in opposition will be recognized and allowed to make their statements and ask questions. Each member of the public will be given 5 minutes to express their opinions, and time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker's time may be extended by a vote of 2/3 by the board, by majority vote of the board. The chairman will ask for a show of hands for people who are in support or in opposition who do not wish to speak. Then the applicant will then answer questions and make a closing statement. The public hearing portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will only be allowed to address the board if a question is directed towards them. Then the board will discuss the application and make their decision with a brief statement of the reason for the motion preceding the making of the motion. Motions to approve shall include the staff's conditions unless otherwise stated in the motion. This brings us to our first application of the evening, BOZA 2025-025, Tamara McConnell. It is a variance for separation distance between a school, church, and liquor store at 1130 Quindara Boulevard. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
Okay.
Ms. McConnell, are you in the audience? Yes, ma'am. Start off with your name and address, please, and tell us what you want to do.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tamara McConnell, 1130 Quindaro, with the proposed use for a wine and spirits store. Hours of operation Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. On Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, it's my understanding this has always or traditionally been a liquor store in that building before, although it's been shut down for quite some time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How long has it been shut down? Do you know?
I think the date I checked, it was approximately 7 or 8 years.
Okay, so quite a while. And do you own that building or are you leasing it?
I am currently leasing the building.
Okay. Any questions for this applicant from the commission? All right, seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand or come forward. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron to Planning Department. So as the applicant stated, this has been a liquor store in the past. I believe the last license was 2007. Prior to that, it operated for almost 20 years as a liquor store. We did receive one letter of opposition last month prior to this being held over. The concern was from Antioch Baptist Church, which is to the west, that there were proliferation of liquor stores within the Northeast area. They cited that there were 4 I can put it on the slide here. 440 Quindaro Boulevard, 1927 North 7th Street, 1416 North 10th Street, and 305 Washington Boulevard, just for context. That being said, this specific block face only has one building on it, which is this building here, as proposed. With that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions outlined in the report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? If there are none, I will entertain a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve BOZA 2025-025, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve BOZA case 2025-025 made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong. Aye. Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-0.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Our next application is BOZA 2025-026, Josh Inyart. It is a variance for a front porch expansion that extends into the side yard corner setback at 1405 Delaware Ridge Place. Does anyone on the commission have any context to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Inyart, are you in the audience or? Yeah, go ahead and come on up. Give us your name and address and tell us what's going on at your property.
Good evening, thank you. Josh Inyart, 1405 Delaware Ridge Place, Kansas City, Kansas 66109. My 72-year-old father and myself built this front porch. I was unaware that I had bought a property that had stipulations on what I was allowed to do. So I was unaware of the requirements and that there was a 25-foot setback rule from the sewer under the ground there. And so, yeah.
Okay, so when you pulled your building permit in advance of the construction, you weren't made aware of that?
I didn't pull a building permit on it. I did call and check on things that required the permit, like using concrete for foundations, mounting it to the house, a deck height of above, I think it was 30 inches. And I avoided all of those things. And so,
But
yeah,
there was no mention of setback requirements or anything?
correct.
Okay, so the deck or front porch has been built.
Yeah, it was completed over a year ago.
All right. All right. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, there you can see it. My dad and I built that. They sent me an email yesterday saying that it would be approved, and then there was an attachment for a to do an electronic payment of $4,900. I was never made aware of any type of expense in that form. I had done the $100 and whatever dollar payment. I did it in the office, and at no point did anyone mention that there was this additional fee for that. I did not, was not aware of that, and I wasn't sure if it was real or if someone was trying to scam me, honestly. I don't have $4,900, so.
All right, we'll find out about that. Anything else you wanted to add besides that?
I can, if it's $4,900, I'll tear it down, whatever.
Well, we'll look into that, but as far as the deck is, the porch has been built, everything's been done. It was done a year ago. And so you're seeking to get it kind of grandfathered in or approved.
Well, after I got done building it, there was a stop work notice put on the house. So for the last year and a half, I've been calling in and referring to Schwartz and 4 or 5 other people in different departments trying to get everything aligned to do whatever it was that was required. They said it was an unusual situation, being that I didn't use concrete footings. It wasn't attached to the house. It's basically a gazebo built around the original front porch. So they were actually unsure of how to handle it, since it's kind of technically a temporary structure.
Okay, we might be getting into the weeds, which isn't a good place to be, but let's go on forward. Anything else you want to add? Or maybe I should stop you short.
I mean, that's a pretty good explanation of the situation.
Okay, sounds good. All right, anyone in the, I'm sorry, anybody on the commission have questions for this applicant? All right, seeing none. Anyone in the audience, online, or in the chambers want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Byron Toy Planning Department. So just kind of for planning staff specifically, we don't have $4,900 anything fee for anything to assess. So it's possible that maybe related to the building permit. I do not know.
I'll show you the emails.
So in it, if you can, applicant, if you can show me the emails, I can maybe figure out where that's coming from to help you out. But going back to the actual porch itself, there was a stop work order issued, that needs to be rectified. But because it was built without getting a variance first, we have to recommend denial of the application. We do have conditions of approval should you choose to approve this, but staff recommends denial.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion when ready.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman.
Easterwood.
I'm sorry, this is a question. I was a little late on the draw. But for staff, I'm not sure I understood whether they were saying that.
What did you,
they
I'm
are
sorry, what
making-
did you not understand, Commissioner Easterwood?
What was staff's comments in reference to this?
Well, the recommendation is for denial because this is a self-imposed hardship by the applicant by building it without seeking the variance beforehand.
I'm saying,
So in accordance with standard procedure, the recommendation from the department is denial. There are recommendations for approval if you choose to override the staff recommendation. Any other questions or clarifications needed? Commissioner Ernst.
Move to approve BOZA 2025-026, he said blindly, subject to staff stipulations.
All right, motion to approve BOZA case 2025-026 made by Commissioner Ernst. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. It's been seconded by Commissioner. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, it's been approved. You probably want to just see staff maybe tomorrow and find out about those additional fees that you're getting the email about.
Okay.
But check first before you build anything else onto that house.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that does conclude our agenda. So we will convene the City Planning Commission at 6:30. If any of you are in the audience online or in the chambers are here for the reworld petition that has been withdrawn. And so that will not be heard this evening. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Carson. I want to welcome you to the November 10th meeting of the City Planning Commission. I'll be serving as chair of tonight's meeting. Before we begin, I'll make a few introductions. Here in the chambers with me tonight are Commissioner Dwayne Beth and Commissioner Aaron Ward. Online, we've got Commissioner Mark Mueller, Commissioner Jim Ernst, Commissioner Beverly Easterwood, Commissioner Brandy Armstrong, and Commissioner Jake Miller. Also with us tonight is Michael Farley with Unified Government Legal Counsel, along with staff from the UG Planning and Urban Design Department, Rodney Lucas, Byron Toy, Alyssa Marcy, and Rose Morse, who will be announcing the cases this evening. So with that, I'll turn the meeting over to Rose Morse to read the opening statement. We'll get started.
Welcome, everyone, to the meeting of the City Planning Commission. Members are participating remotely by Zoom or in person in the Commission chamber. Mr. Jeff Carson is serving as chairman this evening. Please note the following instructions for the meeting. If you're joining by Zoom, please make sure you have appropriate background. For those members of the public attending the meeting virtually this evening, please use the raise your hand feature if you want to speak on an application. If you're present in the Commission chamber, please come to the microphone at the front of the room when your application is called. After the chairman recognizes you, please state your name and address before you make your comments. If you're having issues getting into the Zoom meeting, please see the Planning and Urban Design website on wykck.org. Proper meeting decorum is expected of all participating in the meeting. Anyone who fails to act properly may be removed from the meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue a meeting if any improper behavior occurs, which prevents the uninterrupted conduct of business. The Planning Commission is a voluntary body of citizens which will review each zoning proposal for all changes of zones, special use permits, vacations, and preliminary plan reviews on tonight's agenda. The Planning Commission makes recommendations to the Unified Government Board of Commissioners, who will then make the final decisions on Thursday, December 4th, 2025. For final plats and final plan reviews heard tonight, the Planning Commission's decision is final and there will not be another hearing. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. First, the applicant will be given 15 minutes to make an opening statement explaining the proposal, which includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the commission may then address questions to the applicant. Then those wishing to speak in favor will be recognized and allowed to do so at that time. Then those in opposition will be recognized and make their statements and ask questions. Each member of the public will be given 5 minutes to express their opinions, and time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker's time may be extended in 5-minute intervals by a 2/3 majority vote of the commission. The chairman will ask for a show of hands of people who are in support or in opposition who do not wish to speak. Then the applicant will answer questions and make a closing statement. The public hearing portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will only be allowed to address the commission if a question is directed towards them. Finally, the Planning Commission will discuss the application and make their recommendation. If those in opposition want to formally protest a change of zone or special use permit, a means is available by a legal protest petition, which can be obtained by emailing the Planning and Urban Design Department at planninginfo@wykck tomorrow morning. Any application receiving a unanimous vote of recommendation by the Planning Commission will appear on the consent agenda of the Unified Government Board of Commissioners. Unless there is a request to remove an item from the consent agenda by the applicant, commission, or other interested parties, the Planning Commission's recommendation will be adopted. The consent agenda will be heard at the beginning of the meeting at 7 p.m. The Planning Commission will also have a consent agenda this evening. The consent agenda is the first part of the agenda. Items on the consent agenda are final plats, final plans, special use permit renewals that have received a staff recommendation to approve. Unless there is a request to remove an item from the consent agenda, the staff recommendation on all the items will be adopted by the Planning Commission at one time. I will read a list of agenda items on the consent agenda, and when I have completed the list, the chairman will ask if there's any request to remove items. This is your time to use the raise your hand feature, be recognized, and request that an item be removed from the consent agenda if you do not agree with the staff's recommendation. If you're in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, and the item that you want to remove from the consent agenda. The Planning Commission is required to disclose contacts about any item on the Planning Commission agenda. Before each item, I'll ask if any contacts have been made, and the members of the commission will be asked to disclose their contacts. Please note that your opinions will be forwarded to the governing body for their consideration in making a final decision on Thursday, December 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m. I will now read the items on the consent agenda. Consideration of the October 13th, 2025 City Planning Commission minutes. SP 2025-055 Carrie Depew, a renewal of a special use permit for continuation of outside storage of used, damaged, and undamaged operable and inoperable vehicles at 6130 Kansas Avenue. SP 2025-066, John and Audrey Sill, special use permit renewal for a short-term rental at 819 Southwest Boulevard. SP 2025-067, Wing Fu Ao Lao with Internal Investing LLC, special use permit for a short-term rental at 4110 South Minnie Street. SP 2025-068, David Dickey, special use permit for a short-term rental at 4516 Eaton Street. SP 2025-070, Patricia Soto, special use permit for keeping one horse at 741 South 76th Street. Plat 2025-031, Justin Dixon with Case Pictures, Inc. Final plat for a 297-unit multifamily apartment development at 1498 North 98th Terrace and 1501 North 98th Street. PR 2025-032, Justin Dixon, final plan review for a 297-unit multifamily apartment complex. Plat 2025-033, Shelby Miles, final plat for one multifamily district. PR 2025-022, final development plan for building tenant conversion to convenience store. Sorry. Okay, that's everything on the consent agenda.
Where'd you leave off? Did you get them all? Does anybody have any contact on any of these cases that needs to be disclosed? Okay, seeing none. This time, is anybody on the commission? Is there any request from any of the commissioners to have anything removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda for special consideration? I see one hand up. I'm going to go to Danielle Foreman. Ms. Foreman, do you have a question on an item on the consent agenda? I need you to unmute yourself, please.
I don't. I'm gonna wait. There's a question on the non-consent agenda. And I was just making sure, now that I know how you're speaking, I didn't see the chat being able to tap, but I can see that, you'll call for it. So you guys can move on.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. Any discussion on anything? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and I will do roll call. Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Commissioner Beth. Aye. Commissioner Moeller,
Aye.
Commissioner Ernst,
Aye.
Commissioner Easterwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Aye.
and Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
All right, I have 7 in favor and none opposed. Okay, everything on the consent agenda will move forward to the Board of Commissioners. Byron, what is that date of that meeting, please?
December 4th.
The special use permits, everything except the plats and the final plan reviews will move forward to the Board of Commissioners meeting on December 4th. I'm sorry, it's December 4th. Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda is complete. We will now move into the non-consent agenda. COZ 2025-022, Daryl Rukowski.
Change of zone application 2025-022, change of zone from AG Agricultural District to R1 Single Family District for residences at 12525 Leavenworth Road. Mr. Rukowski, are you in the audience? I have Crystal Voth online. Are you going to be presenting on this case?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I will be after, do you want me to go before Byron or would you like
Yes.
Byron?
Go
Okay.
ahead and present what you're
Okay.
wanting to do here.
Thank you. Yes, commissioners, we brought this before you last month as a change of zone. This went to the Board of County Commissioners a couple of weeks ago. They have remanded it back. It is my understanding that they remanded it because there was confusion regarding why a planned zoning district was not required. I have spoken with Mr. Toy quite a bit. Obviously, we had spoken with him prior to even submitting our application, and we submitted our application as we were instructed to do. I believe Mr. Byron can give you a better understanding of why it was determined that we did not need to submit a planned zoning district request.
right.
We really haven't changed our request. We're still requesting this to be rezoned from from the ag zoning district to the R1 zoning district. When we first brought this before you, when we first brought this to staff, excuse me, we had talked about maybe taking this 9 acres and bringing it down into 7 lots. We talked with staff some more and we realized that wasn't really going to be possible, given some of the constraints there at that intersection. So we are now talking about 3 single family homes on that 9 acres. Each of those lots would obviously be right at 3 acres in size. They would be on they would be on septic because sanitary sewer is not available. Each of the lots would have at least 300 feet of road frontage, which is the requirement for that section of Leavenworth Road. And then one of the lots would actually front on 123rd Street instead of Leavenworth Road. We know that, like I said, that intersection gets busy during school. We look forward to working with staff as we bring forward a plat on how to best locate driveways and such so that we are mitigating any issues as much as we can. But as you can see that picture before you, we've really cut down what we had originally thought we were going to be able to do there. As Mr. Rakoski has talked about previously, this is an attempt to bring some higher end homes. This is not, a small cookie cutter subdivision. These are obviously very large lots. They would be large homes here. Everything appears to meet the zoning requirements. We don't believe we would need to ask for any sorts of variances or exceptions. I'll answer any other questions that you may have, but you can see there, that's basically what we're intending to do.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant before we go to staff? Since this has previously been heard, we won't have public comment on this evening. But I will entertain questions for the applicant's representative if there are some from the commission. All right, seeing none, I will go to staff and get their comment and recommendation.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. It's the reason why this was remanded back, as Ms. Voss said, by the Board of Commissioners back to Planning Commission was discussed the difference between a planned district versus conventional district. Within the conventional section district rezoning of our code, it does make mention related to most non-residential uses, subdivisions, and development of multiple lots should be a planned district. Should is different than shall. Shall is a requirement. Should is a guideline. So using staff's discretion we've done with many subdivisions, we don't seek out planned districts. Ag to R1 is very common. Unless there's something very, very specific that the staff or developer wants to do within that subdivision, whether it be a specific type of building material that was supposed to be used for every single home, then sure, we could look at a planned district, but that then means that on the back side of that, for the building permitting side, staff has to review each single family home that gets built in that subdivision to make sure that they're fulfilling that condition of approval. So with that, we use our discretion for this 3 lots not to be a planned district. And with that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Legal counsel, did you have any recommendations or any comments?
This is Mike for legal counsel. I have no additional comments, Chairman.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-022, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, motion to approve change of zone application 2025-022 made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Easterwood?
Yes, it is.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call. Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Commissioner Beth,
Aye.
Commissioner Moeller,
Aye.
Commissioner Ernst,
Aye.
Commissioner Easterwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller.
Aye.
All right, I have 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion passes. This will go forward to the Board of County Commissioners on December 4th. Okay, next case, Josh Gatewood with McDonald's Corporation. This is a change of zone application from MP1 Plan Light Industrial and Industrial Park District to CP2 General Plan Business District at 2320 Metropolitan Avenue. Mr. Gatewood, are you in the audience? Josh Gatewood. Mr. Jackson, I've got Joel Jackson with their hand up. Are you presenting on behalf of this case?
Yes,
All right, please go ahead and start off with your name, address, please, and tell us what you'd like to do.
sure. Joel Jackson, Bishop Engineering Company, 3501 104th Street, Urbandale, Iowa. I'm alongside Josh Gatewood with McDonald's. He's on as well. What we're looking to do is rezone the property located on the northeast corner of 24th and Metropolitan Avenue in front of the Walmart Neighborhood Market from industrial to CP2 in order to facilitate the construction of a McDonald's restaurant. Overall, we've been able to satisfy all staff comments, and we have no issues with anything that's been said so far. So we are here to answer any questions the commission may have.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the commissioner for this applicant? All right, seeing none, we'll go to the public. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Toy and get his comments. Boy, that's a blast from the past.
Blast from the
Mr.
past.
Toy.
Byron Toy Planning Department. Staff recommends approval subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-023, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2025-023 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst, Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again on December 4th before the Board of Commissioners.
Okay, and the next case is COZ 2025-025. Robert Frex is a change of zone from R1 Single Family District to AG Agriculture District for storage in a garden at 6208 Riverview Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
Is Robert Frex here?
All right,
Oh.
please go ahead and step up to the microphone, please. Give us your name and address, please.
Stephen McMahon, 99.5 North 61st Street, Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay, and tell us what you'd like to do here.
Robert Fricks is my boss and he owns the 7 acres. And I've worked for him for 11 years and he's gotten cancer and he can't no longer take care of the property. So he's pretty well put me over the caretaker of the 7 acres. There is a building there that has been no one's ever lived in it for over probably 50 years if they did live in it. It's just had stuff stored in it. It's never had no utilities. There's no water lines, there's no power, there's no plumbing. It's just more or less a storage building. Well, code enforcement mistaked it for a house when they done I guess, the appraisal on the property, because it kind of looks like a house. So now they're saying that it's going to have utilities run to it if we don't get it zoned for agriculture, because I guess in R1 zoning, you can't just have a shed.
Right.
So they're wanting us to get it zoned for agriculture, and then we got a garden there. That way, she said if it got zoned for agriculture, it would no longer be a R1. The shed would not need utilities.
Okay, so that's what you're here tonight to do.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. Hang on just one second with me. Any questions for this applicant? All right. Anybody in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers here tonight. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. Staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Easy enough. Thank you. Any questions for staff? I'll entertain a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward?
Make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-025, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2025-025 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call. Commissioner Ward?
Aye.
Commissioner Beth?
Aye.
Commissioner Moeller?
Aye.
Commissioner Ernst?
Aye.
Commissioner Easterwood?
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Aye.
Commissioner Miller?
Aye.
All right. I have 7 favors, 0 against. Motion passes. This will be heard once again, December 4th, before the Board of County Commissioners in this room.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case is change of zone application 2025-026, Cassandra Jaquez. Change of zone from R1 Single Family District to AG Agricultural District for farming, keeping of hens and goats at 1721 North 55th Street. Does anybody have anything that they need to disclose or any contact to disclose on this case?
No.
All right, seeing none. Cassandra, are you in the chambers or online? Okay, I see you online. I've got you unmuted. If you would, please go ahead and start off with your name and address. Go ahead and unmute yourself, please, Cassandra.
There we are. My name is Cassandra Jaquez, and I am at 1721 North 55th Street in KCK 66104. And I'm proposing to change the zone at this address from a residential to agricultural to be used, as mentioned, for a garden area and to be used to have a hen coop along with a goat area as well.
All right, so you're gonna have 1 goat.
No, there's going to be approximately 10 based on the space that we are going to be using, and the hens as well, between 10 and 15. And then the garden areas, we are planning to be approximately, let me get my dimensions, 40 by 40.
Okay. Anything else?
That is all.
All right, thank you. Anyone any questions for this applicant from the commissioners? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? All right, seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward?
Make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-026, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2025-026 made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, December 4th, before the Board of Commissioners here in this room.
The next case is COZ 2025-027, Philip Boutwell. A change of zone from CO non-retail business district to CD central business district for a mixed-use commercial, office, and residential uses at 601 Minnesota Avenue. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Boutwell, are you in the audience? Your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Megan Painter. I reside at 1327 Barnett Avenue in KCK. I am here to represent this project as the owner is Build Wyco, formerly CHWC. And this has been an eyesore for a really long time, and we are very much looking forward to renovating this building into a beautiful place right at the gateway of the downtown. So the biggest thing that we're working through right now, other than the rezone, is this will be probably the first building to use the historic district tax credits that the planning is working on ever so diligently. We're really looking forward to that being finalized. But right now it has a really, really ugly skin on it. But if you've seen the west side of the building, there was a building that burned down right before we bought the building. You see that the glass has broken, and there's actually a really beautiful building underneath. So we are very much pushing to restore the original version of this building. The other thing I would say, it's 7 stories. We're going to have our offices on the first 2 stories and then residences above. And we want to go to a CD because we want to enliven the front of the building with some sort of retail activity that you can walk in and have good connection to the street. And then there's also a very large basement where we think that we could get some really great amenities in our area down there. And yeah, you can see the elevations here. It will look quite different once we're done. I think the only other comment I have is we are already coordinating with USD 500, who have shown plans to build a new library on our parking lot area. We're not excited to have a parking lot area right at the heart of the downtown, and are very much willing to coordinate with them if they decide that that's the site where they want to build.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, seeing none, other than how fast can you get started and how fast can you get it done? But we'll get to that later. Okay, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward, please. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public portion. We'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. As Ms. Painter said, this has been a long time coming with various iterations of people wanting to develop this. So this is great to see. With that, staff recommends approval. Some of the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? If not, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I happily make a motion to approve this change of zone 2025-027 because I work in the downtown area and I go by this every single day. Subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. I will happily accept that motion. Commissioner Ward on change of zone application 2025-027. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong, for approval?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Mueller,
I think this helps break the doom loop of downtown. I wholeheartedly vote yes.
Thank you.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
That was 6 and 1 wholehearted yes, so correct. Yeah. All right. Thank you. This will be heard once again on December 4th at 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners. Thank you and good luck.
All right, our next application is COZ 2025-028, Brittany Andreessen. Is a change of zone from C1 Limited Business District to CP2 Planned Business District for a Casey's convenience store and gas station at 9338 State Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. All right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
You might guess my name is not Brittany.
I was going to ask.
My name is Richard.
We don't
Napper.
judge here, sir.
My name is Richard Napper. I'm here on behalf of Homefield and the Homefield Master Plan, 9250 State Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas. As I've done many times for the past many years for the Homefield Master Plan project, I'd make a few opening remarks to introduce this project and evidence our incredible support for the users we're bringing to this master plan. So when I get done here in a couple of minutes, the real experts from Casey's will take over along with staff and give you any and all detail you need. But I do want to say on behalf of Homefield, we're very excited about this project. With the help of this planning commission, as well as the Board of County Commissioners and our partnership with the state of Kansas in the past 3 years, plus or minus, we've developed somewhere in the neighborhood of $450 million to $500 million in world-class product at the Homefield Master Plan. And I think we all remember what happened and what was at this project before Homefield's purchase. So what has happened the past few years, and in our estimation, would hope you would agree, is pretty remarkable. So years ago, I remember mentioning to staff when I brought Freddy's through that I was excited because it's my favorite hamburger place. I'm equally excited tonight because I'm bringing through my favorite pizza place. And I will admit, I've already been at Casey's today. I've had a piece of pizza, a Diet Coke, and a cup of coffee. So you're welcome. Casey's is the 5th largest pizza company in the country by some metrics, which is amazing. To me, Casey's is a pizza store that happens to sell some groceries and some petroleum. Casey's is a $20 billion public company. And even at a company of that size, they're very involved in the communities with where their stores are. They are an employer that offers attractive comp packages for all their employees. As you might know, Casey's was recently included by name and by location on the site plan in our recently approved development agreement amendment by the Board of County Commissioners about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It is with that amendment that we issued additional star bonds as an add-on to the 2022 star bonds. These are a 2025 issuance. And so we are anxious for Casey's to start, hopefully with your approval tonight and subsequent approvals. This is the sales tax they create, along with the other sales tax we've created in the district, will go to pay and retire the star bonds from 2022 and 2025. This is a great amenity for the area. This is a great amenity for Homefield. Based on AI placer technology, about the past 12 months from the Homefield sports facilities, there's been approximately 900,000 visits. We know from that AI placer technology that when people come to the facilities and they leave the facilities, one of the major places they stop, restaurants and convenience stores, and many of them are not by the facilities. They are in other counties, other states. We think this is a great place for that business to be conducted right by the facilities. We also think with the amenities offered and the offerings from Casey's, it's a great amenity for the local residents in the local area. As I'm sure you're aware, just to the north of the Casey's site, which I believe she's been through here with the Quilting Museum of Kansas City, we love the fact she's our neighbor. Between the Casey's and the Quilting Museum, it's about $25 million in development. And I would not be so bold to tell you that the museum could not happen without Casey's, but it'd be far more difficult. We've been working for about 9 months with Linda Houston and Casey's to make sure both projects align. And with the land swap we've done, with some land planning, with some ingress and egress agreements, we were able to swap a little bit of land to move the Quilting Museum out of a drainage ditch and give Casey's a little bit of extra land on the northern property line. Benefit to them, benefit to the museum, as it eliminated her need for very high retaining walls. We've agreed to assist the museum with the demolition of the house, and work with her on entry drives and shared utilities. It is a mutual benefit, and the timing could not be better. In closing, this is a component that we love. Casey's will provide options for local residents and all of the tourists and others that come in from out of city, out of county, out of state to the sports facilities. It will be money spent in Wyandotte County. In looking at the components in the Star Bond District, the attractions that we brought are really great. They're fantastic. But there are other components that will be developed around those attractions, and I think we're seeing that. It's great for something to be viable today or tomorrow. It's more important that these users are viable 20 years from today. And having a $20 billion public company as our partner in this particular parcel, knowing that they're going to be there and they have the wherewithal, is a great, it gives us a lot of satisfaction, and we believe the bond buyers gives them satisfaction as well. As I noted earlier, our approved and amended development agreement by the Board of County Commissioners that was used to issue the bonds names Casey's at this location for the development agreement for the Star Bonds. And we are hopeful that with staff support, which I believe staff is supportive of this, and with your support tonight, we can move this one forward. With that, I will turn that over to Casey's. I believe, and I don't want to misspeak, but I believe they're in agreement with staff's report with one minor tweak that I think they discussed today with regard to the trash corral. And given the tightness of the site, the corral cannot be pivoted. And so that, I believe it's Casey's request, and staff, I believe, Byron, I believe you're in agreement for it to be as submitted by the applicant. And with that, I will go sit down and turn it over to Casey's. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do I address you as Ms. Casey or?
Miss Casey, yeah. I'm actually Brittany Andreessen, so.
Okay, there we go.
3305 Southeast Delaware Avenue in Ankeny, Iowa, 50021. Thank you so much, Richard, for speaking on this project and for your partnership and support. I am a site development manager with Casey's. I have Jeff Laubach here. He is our engineer with SBB. We are planning on building a 4,200 square foot store with 5 dispensers, aiming to be open 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And hoping to start construction next spring. So we've been looking around this area forever. We feel this spot fits really well. We're pleased to have staff support, and we're here for any questions. And I'm going to let Jeff speak to anything I may have missed.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Laubach with SBB Engineering. I'm the civil engineering consultant for this project. Address is 101 South Kansas, Topeka, 101 South Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. Yeah, nothing really to add regarding, there's a full access on 94th Street, the right in, right out that's shared on State Avenue. We've gone through the staff comments and the stipulations. The one condition that Richard mentioned that we would like to change is our trash enclosure. And so it's on the east side of the loading zone. It faces south. There's not really room on the site to turn it to be able to get any other way for the trash to be able to pull up to it.
Can staff put an arrow on where that's at? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
But with that, it is on that side. If it was on the state side, there's the drive that, you would have a straight view at the trash enclosure. Where it is off state, there is the 25-foot landscape easement and buffer, which there is landscaping there. And then it's set back away from even that. So it is, I didn't measure it, but it is, probably 150 feet or so from the road, from view. And
But that's the location you want to put it. Right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
really no other options.
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't moving it from that location to a different side. Okay,
Nope.
all right. Anything else?
No, we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, we'll find out. Any questions for the applicant? Everybody seems to like Casey's. All right. So anybody in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward or raise your hand if you're online. All right. Seeing none, we'll go to staff and get their comment and address the trash enclosure.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. So to the related to the trash enclosure that's found in the face of State Avenue, doors have to be closed at all times when not in use, but its placement is fine on the east side of the building. With that, staff recommends approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead. You're hot tonight.
keep it moving, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-028 to include the approval of the trash enclosure in its current status on the drawing.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2025-028 with the added change to leave the trash enclosure as noted on the drawing submitted, made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you. We'll hear this case once again, December 4th, before the Board of Commissioners in this room. Thank you.
Now we're moving on to these special use permits. Our next application is SP 2025-051. Mark Master is a special use permit for general automobile maintenance at 6125 Speaker Road. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
Okay, it looks like someone's online.
Yes, I've
Okay.
got him queued up. Chase Master, I have you queued up, ready to speak. Are you representing?
Yep,
Mark
I'm
Master.
representing Mark Master and Casey Disposal. We're at 6125 Speaker Road in Kansas City, Kansas. We recently bought the property this year to move our headquarters there. We love the facility, love the location. We're just looking to get our SUP approved so we can perform, light maintenance on our garbage trucks, which will include changing brakes, lights, tires on the trucks. The rest of our maintenance is farmed out to a third party, the local Mack dealership Nextran, and they perform all that maintenance offsite at their facility on the Missouri side. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions for this applicant? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and go to the public. Anyone want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. I see Aaron Barden. Aaron, do you have a comment on this case? Aaron, can you hear me? Aaron Barden. Go ahead and unmute yourself again and see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
I'm the architecture firm that's representing this client. So if
Okay.
anyone has a technical question about the special use permit.
Okay, we'll see if we have any for you. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Seeing none, we're going to go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. This actually is in a very good location. It's already zone industrial, kind of an industrial park. Right spot for it. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Barden. It doesn't seem like we're going to need you for those technical questions, but stand by. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, I recommend approval of SP 2025-051, subject to staff recommendations.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-051 made by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, December 4th, 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners.
Our next application is SP 2025-062. Tamara McConnell is a special use permit for a liquor store at 1130 Quindara Boulevard in conjunction with BOZA 2025-025. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
Great.
Ms. McConnell, welcome back. Okay, one more time, give us your name and address. Tell us what you're wanting to do.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tamara McConnell, 8733 Cleveland Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas, 66104. 109, excuse me, is where I reside. 1130 Quindaro is where I would like to propose a wine and spirit store with the hours of operation being Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. We won't need to do any outer structural upgrades. Inside, there's just minimal framing and things that still need to be done. We've looked at adding lighting for security on the outside and for our visitors to be able to come in and feel safe, as well as work with local police department to help us with securing the property. This is my second business in Quindaro. I am a native of Wyandotte County. My grandmother raised me in Parkwood, and I just miss my community. As a little girl, I can remember AG's, which was the liquor store that was there previous to now, Carter's, Velvet Freeze, from 11th Street all the way to 18th Street. There were places in my community that we could shop, that we could find fast foods or laundromats and things of that nature. I see those things coming back. I just want to bring light back to our community. And so I just reinvest my money to try and see those things happening. So that is my why for bringing this type of business. I have been in the mixology field for a very long time. I think my community deserves more than just a cold can of beer. With my knowledge of wine varietals and even some higher end bourbons and whiskeys, I think that I can provide a space for people to come in and be able to shop for things that are a little bit more, I think, enjoyable, and also that are needed by those who enjoy the spirit world as myself.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Any questions for this applicant?
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I gotta ask, are you gonna keep the payphone receptacle that's out front of the building?
No.
You're getting rid of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Had to ask that. I saw it on the picture.
Thank you.
I like that payphone. That's kind of vintage.
Yeah. If I could make it like a focal point for like visitors to take pictures, I would, but I don't think that I can bring it back.
If it were to ever ring, then we really would be talking about the spirit world, wouldn't
yeah.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward or raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. I'd like to include the testimony from the BOZA previously this evening in the record for this. With that, staff recommends approval, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion when ready. Commissioner Ward is tired. Anyone else?
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, he bounced back. Yes.
I make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-062, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-062 made by Commissioner Ward and seconded by Commissioner Armstrong. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This
Thank
will be,
you.
This will be heard one more time, December 4th, 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners. Good luck.
Okay, next is SP 2025-065. Jason Amy Larson is a special use permit for a short-term rental at 4206 Mission Road. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Larson, I've got you queued up ready to speak. If you would start off with your name and address, please.
Hi, this is Amy Larson. I have Jace Larson with me as well.
Yep, right here.
All right,
And
thank you.
the address is 4206 Mission Road, Kansas City, Kansas 66103. And we are seeking approval of a special use permit to operate a short-term rental in the Rosedale area.
All right, and do you live at this property now or within close proximity?
5600 North 115th Street is our primary residence, so close by.
All right. And you'll be doing the on-site management if there's any problems or anything like that?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for this applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward or raise your hand if you're online. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. This is a non-owner occupied special use permit, STR. Therefore, we only can approve for 1 year for the initial approval. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, it was for 1 year?
1 year.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-065, subject to staff stipulation and comments for a period of 1 year.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-065 for a 1-year term made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard one more time, December 4th, 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners in this room. Thank you.
Our next application is SP 2025-069, Andrea Ryan with Denise Whiteman. A special use permit for a restaurant and drinking establishment with live entertainment at 401 North 6th Street. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you. Yes, ladies. Name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Andrea Ryan. I live at 335 North 16th Street, Kansas City, Kansas 66102. This is my sister Denise Whiteman, and we've recently opened a restaurant in Strawberry Hill at 401 North 6th Street. It's named Beverly's after my dog. And so we were just wanting to apply for our special use permit for a drinking establishment, even though we are a restaurant that serves pizza and charcuterie and salads. We do also serve wine, beer, and spirits. So we just wanted to make sure we remain compliant with that drinking establishment permit. And then as far as the entertainment goes, we will be not volunteering, but we will be partnering with animal shelters every month since the bar is named for my dog. And we would like to let those shelters host fundraising events that are very simple, things like trivia nights or bingo nights, just ways for them to raise money to help, the animals in our community.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's pretty much it.
All right. Any questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward or raise your hand if you're online. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their his comment. Their comment.
Thanks, Mr.
Somebody's
Chairman.
comment. Who wants to comment?
My comment is fine. With that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Oh, I got some hands up this time. Here we go. Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of SP 2025-069, subject to staff recommendations and approval.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-069 made by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that a second, Commissioner Miller?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again December 4th at 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next application is SP 2025-071 Northward Liquor. It is a special use permit for a liquor store at 2862 West 47th Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Is there anyone here representing Northwood Liquor? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm Melissa Van Crum with Rouse Fretz White Goss Law Firm here on behalf of the applicant tonight. We are requesting approval of a special use permit to continue the existing use as a liquor store. There has been a liquor store in this shopping center for over 20 years. It was reapproved for a special use permit in 2019 for 15 years. We're before you today because there's a proposed change in ownership, and that triggers the need for a new special use permit. There are no changes proposed to either the exterior or the site plan, and the application meets all requirements of the UG. We agree with all staff's recommended conditions of approval. We thank you for your time, and we're open for any questions that you may have this
All
evening.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant's representative?
One question.
Yes, Commissioner Ward.
Is this for, what time period are you wanting this for?
The time period is, I believe we have 10 years. Is that correct? Yeah.
10 years? Okay,
yeah.
I'll make sure.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward or raise your hand. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff to get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Commissioner Ward, as you see on your screen, condition number 9 is affirming the 10-year term that they're seeking. With that, staff recommends approval of the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-071 for a period of 10 years, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-071 for a period of 10 years, made by Commissioner Ward and seconded by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beff,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, December 4th, 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners.
All right, our next application is SP 2025-072 Kurt Retema. It is a special use permit for a short-term rental at 1425 South 36th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Kurt Ratima? Yes, sir. Please unmute yourself and give us your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Kurt Redema. 1414 South 35th Street is where I live, and this is for a house that is on 1425 South 36th Street, 3 doors down from my house via the alley. It is a residence that is owned by my mother, who often visits her grandkids here. And but it's becoming less so with the passing of my father, and we're just looking at as another way in order to provide some additional housing here in Wyandotte County for visitors and help just pay some of the maintenance and operating costs for her.
All right. And so you said across the street?
3 doors down from the alley.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for this applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. This is non-owner occupied short-term rental. Therefore, staff's only approving for the first time 1 year. With that, staff recommends approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, I recommend approval of SP 2025-072, subject to staff comments and recommendations.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-072 for a period of 1 year made by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller, Miller. Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard one more time, December 4th, before the Board of Commissioners at 7 p.m. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all.
Okay, our next application is SP 2025-073. John O'Dwyer is a special use permit for a short-term rental at 548 North 80th Terrace. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
My name's John O'Dwyer. It's 5406 Aberdeen Road, Fairway, Kansas. I live about 15 minutes from this property. It was my late father's property, and we want to apply for a short-term permit for short-term rental, a special use permit for a short-term.
Okay. And you're going to be managing the property?
Yes, me and my wife.
All right. Any additional questions for this applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor of or in opposition to? Please raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff to get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. Again, non-owner occupied. Recommend approval for 1 year. Staff recommends approval. Some of the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion when ready. Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of SP 2025 sorry, the 073,
That's correct.
subject to staff comments and recommendations.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-073 for a period of 1 year made by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that a second, Commissioner Miller?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Let's do a little
Ernst?
refresher. We're on the practice track here, and before
Aye.
we head on the walk, get the hang of it. Sound good?
Got her.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, December 4th, 7 p.m. in this room for the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you.
Next application is SP 2025-074, Sarah Ballard. It is a special use permit for a short-term rental at 3008 South 9th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No,
Sarah Ballard here.
I've got her. Okay, I've got you queued up, ready to speak. Just go ahead and give us your name and address. Please tell us what you'd like to do here.
Sure. My name's Sarah Bellardi at 3008 South 9th Street, Kansas City, Kansas. I'm the owner. We've been operating this short-term rental with commission approvals since 2022. So I believe it's a mistake that we're on the non-consent agenda. This is our second renewal process. My husband and I use this property primarily as a vacation home to visit family in the area and rent it out about 30% of the time. We love the home, we love the community, we've had no issues. Our family in the area act as the house manager and cleaners and are local to the property, and we hope to continue to use it as a short-term rental when we're not there.
All right, thank you. Any questions for this applicant? All right, seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward or raise your hand. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff, get their comment. And can you comment on why they're, thank you.
Byron Toy Planning Department. So there was error as far as it being on the non-consent. This actually is this will be up for 5 years. So actually staff's going to amend condition number 17 to say the special use permit shall be valid for 5 years as opposed to 1 year in the report. All the language else being the same. Staff recommends approval for 5 years.
Okay. Just a clerical thing then?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-074 with the amendment to condition 17 for a period of 5 years.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-074 for a period of 5 years made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Armstrong. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
The motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again December 4th, 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners.
Our next application is SP 2025-075. Stephen McCord is a special use permit for a used automotive dealership at 2100 North 5th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose in this application?
No. Okay, Mr. McCord? Can you give us your name and address, please? Tell us what you want to do.
I'm Stephen McCoy Jr. I live at 411 Waverly, Kansas City, Kansas, and I was needing my special use permit to open up my used car lot at 2100 North 5th Street, Kansas City, Kansas. Like this is my neighborhood where I grew up at, and my family, we have multiple successful businesses for many years. And I'm just back home. I just moved back from Springfield to Kansas City just last year. I closed my car lot down there. I was called One Up Auto Sales, and I'm moving here. I want to open this one up as 5th Street Motors. I moved everything already. I have 7 more cars down there. I have like 20 here already.
Okay, how many cars are you going to have on average?
I try to want to keep at least 10 to 20. You know,
Okay.
something like that. I have some nice affordable ones for the community.
All right, any auto repair work or anything like that? All right, just selling.
Yeah, just
All
some.
right.
So I have some off-site mechanics that I work with out on Bannister, and they help me out.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. Any questions for this applicant? Danielle Foreman. I'm sorry, we'll go ahead and open up the public. Danielle Foreman, do you have a comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, so I currently own the property at 2074 North 5th Street. So I do have a few questions. Number one, you're talking about 10 to 20 cars on the lot. That's a small area. Where do you plan to house these cars in your overflow inventory?
Okay, I'll just address the questions to me and we'll go back to the applicant. We'll get you some answers. But my understanding was it was about 10 cars. I didn't hear anything about 20.
Okay.
But we'll
He
get a
said-
clarification though.
Yeah.
And what else?
Secondly, I did receive a letter about a meeting on October the 20th at 6:30. I sent my sister to that meeting and she was told that they weren't having the meeting tonight, but yet I see notes in the packet for a meeting. So that's question number 2.
Okay.
And then question number 3, I know there are young children in that area who play in that area at all times. So I do have questions about the type of traffic that will be coming in that area. That corner does not have a light. It's only a stop sign, which I know that people don't always observe at all times. So I am concerned about the traffic it will bring to a residential neighborhood where there are still young children who are playing in that neighborhood.
Okay, anything else?
Those are my questions for now.
Okay, well, this will be your only chance. So anything else can you think of?
Nope, mainly about how much I'm just concerned about the traffic that's coming through and also where cars are going to be housed as that street. Most people park on the street in front of their houses. So is this going to take up space in front of people's parking areas in front of the houses? There's a funeral home across the street that already takes up traffic. So there's concern about that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Okay, I'm going to go back to you, Mr. Record One. Can you clarify again the number of cars that you think you're going to be on hand?
I'm gonna have like 10 cars, sir, most definitely, maybe more. Like I have other areas, I have a lot of parking space right there to house everything. I have enough parking space for the guests when they come to look at the cars, they can park as well, and I have my cars set up all the way around the
Okay,
perimeter.
so you've got enough room to house your cars and anybody that comes to look at your cars,
Yes, sir.
unless you have a big sale or something,
Yes, sir.
dollar days or something.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We have other properties, like we got a property across the street, like we got a corner store. We have the liquor store across the street. I have another big parking lot right behind the liquor store that's huge. You could.
You got
how
parking,
many
is what
cars
you're
you
telling me.
need.
All right, so we're not gonna have cars on the street as a result.
No, sir.
Okay, and then, what was number two? No,
It's all fenced in, like.
Can't read my writing,
About
though.
right there, it's a nice area for
oh, I'm
everybody.
sorry, the neighborhood meet, thank you. The meeting.
Mhm.
I was trying to think, what does MTG stand for? Your neighborhood meeting, did you have one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she says somebody showed up and they told you they weren't having a meeting, but then you have notes for a meeting.
No, sir, we was there. We opened the car lot up a little bit before 6:30, and we stayed there till about 7:15, 7:30. We sat there. Couple people came. That's it. Nobody really
Did some
came.
people come? I'm sorry,
Nobody really came.
okay,
Nobody really came. Maybe like a couple people.
but you did host a meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then typically, again, this is a question that's difficult to answer though. How many, as far as customers a day, how many customers a day do you typically see at your car lot?
And as far as
I mean, you hope a lot, obviously, but
yeah,
I mean,
yes, sir.
you know, there's the realistic, I mean, how many people pop in on a daily basis,
That's
look
a
at cars?
nice corner right there, right on Fifth and Quindale. Like all the people that go to work at Fairfax come through there all the time. It's a lot of people up and down the streets, been for so many years. They come up and down there, up and down Quindale, up and down Fifth Street. It's a lot of traffic through there.
All right, but you yourself are not generating or feel that you're generating a bunch more traffic in addition to what's already there.
No.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to staff now and get their comment. And can you address traffic on behalf of Ms. Foreman?
Byron Toy Planning Department, do my best related to traffic. As pertains to traffic coming through the area. I mean, most small car lots don't generate a ton of traffic that we see typically when related to special use permits. Because either you're going there because you know it's there and you want to go look at a car as opposed to stopping by and say, oh, maybe, you know, it's usually a destination you want to go there going to. So that kind of handles traffic. Related to parking, since this is East 635, technically does not provide off-street parking since we have a parking moratorium. That being said, any car that is parked in the lot does need parked in a designated parking space. So they can't be double parked and having tandem parking everywhere. Each car has to be its own designated space. Per his response to the report, he has 7 parking spaces. Now it looks like he may have more than that are not striped. But anything he does put in the parking lot, whether it's for customers or whether it's for cars that are for sale, need to be in a parking space. So they can't be, like I said, double parked in front of doors.
Can't be stacked.
Can't be stacked, can't be on the street,
And we
not
can
permitted.
we can stripe more parking spaces in there. I striped those front 7. I striped those front 7 right there, but I could stripe the whole parking lot. There's plenty of space in the back on the side.
But you're okay with not stacking and packing a bunch of cars in there?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Byron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, staff does recommend approval. Some of the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready. Commissioner Ernst.
I move the Kansas City Planning Commission recommend approval of petition SP 2025-02075, subject to staff stipulations.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2025-075 made by Commissioner Ernst, seconded by Commissioner Armstrong. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard one more time, December 4th, 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners in this room. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Our next application is VAC 2025-003, Rosa Maynor. It is a vacation of a right-of-way for an undeveloped subdivision at 1910 South 16th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Rosa Maynor, are you in the audience? Crystal, both?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Yes, the applicant he's actually planning, I believe, to sell this piece of property to someone who would like to build one single family home on it. That right of way was obviously never developed. There's no intention whatsoever of building that roadway, and keeping that right of way there kind of hinders the ability to build one single family home in the middle of that parcel. So that's really all we're asking to do. As you can see there, that right away just kind of eats up that whole entire parcel. So we would like to vacate that vacant right of way.
All right, and I'm sorry, just for the record, your name and address, please.
Oh, yeah, Crystal Voth, 14500, Parallel Road, Baser, Kansas, 66007. Sorry, Crystal Voth with
Oh,
Atlas
that's
Land
all right.
Consulting.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant's representative? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Planning Department. Staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of VAC 2025-003, subject to staff recommendations.
Thank you. Motion to approve vacation application 2025-003 made by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that a second, Commissioner Miller?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again December 4th, 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next application is Plat 2025-032, Doug Clements with USD 500 KCK Public Schools. It is a preliminary plat and a preliminary plan review for a new middle school building, Central Middle School at a lot of addresses, 51, 52, 55, 56, 58, 60, 64, 68, 72, 76, 80, 84, 88, 90 North 12th Street, and 1102, 1106, 1110, 1114, 1118, 1122, 1126, 1130, 1134, 1138 Riverview Avenue. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. All right, thank you. Mr. Clements, good to see you.
Hello.
That means we're getting something new when I see you.
What's that?
It means we're getting something new when I see you.
Well, we hope. You guys have been on a roll tonight. Let's keep it up.
Well, you know what? We're on a pretty good record, so if you mess it up, it's all on you.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. Doug Clements, Director of Physical Properties for the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District at 2010 North 59th. We are here seeking a preliminary plat and plan approval, which is the next item. I have with me representatives from MKEC Engineering and Hollis and Miller Architects, and we can answer questions. They have a short presentation, so I'll turn it over to who's going to do the. Okay.
They each pointed at each other, so I don't know.
Well, if you want to go to our next slide.
What's your name, please?
Oh, my name's Julia Cusco. Address is 1828 Walnut Street.
All right,
Kansas
great.
City, Missouri. Yeah, so just put together a few exhibits to kind of show the overall layout of the building and how it's going to sit on the site. With all of those addresses, we do have, currently multiple properties that are coming together.
I might interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, and just make sure we all understand that this is on the site of the former Bethany Hospital,
Yes.
just north of Central Avenue between 11th and 12th in Riverview.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
sorry.
Thanks for the clarification.
Good clarification there. So I think the main things we wanted to highlight here was, the orientation of the building. So this is a new middle school for grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We have our main parking and bus drop off and car drop off to the north of the building. Cars are coming off of 11th Street, trying to get as many cars stacked through the parking lot as possible for that car drop off line. And then we have bus drop off, buses coming off of Riverview. And then everybody comes together at that main entry, kind of on the facing the northeast towards 11th Street. Also have a nice open field space just to the east of the building. And then you can see kind of our blue lines are where, expectation for we're going to have a lot of kids walking to school, a lot of pedestrians. So how we're kind of bringing them around into the building. And then if you want to go to the next slide, we've got just a kind of 3D view of that same site plan. So this is looking from that corner of 11th Street, looking towards the south. So you can see kind of how the building sits. Can't really tell from this image, but it is kind of up on that hill that's there currently. And you can see kind of how those drives are coming together towards that entry. And then there is that event parking and drive to the south of the building as well. And then if you want to go to one more, this is our last one, just looking at a few images of the exterior of the building. So this is looking at that main entry and just some feedback we've gotten from we had a community meeting at the current central with invited parents and kind of the broader community. So we got some feedback there about what they'd like to see in a new building, a new middle school. I think one comment that kind of came up quite a bit was we want that glassy openness for a new building. So that's kind of what's informed that main entry. You can see it's kind of that glass tower that's going to have this exciting graphic moment on the inside that you'll be able to read from the exterior as well. And then you can see on that bottom left image is an opportunity for a little school branding with some logo signage there as well. And then school color is red. So trying to use that red tastefully, incorporate that in and still make this, playful and exciting for kids. But that's all we've got.
Okay. Can you back up to the slide just before this one? Just have a question about the car drop off. So the car drop off winds through the parking area. So will there be cars parked in that parking area while people are driving through it?
Yes.
All right. How does that impact people that are working there, getting in the morning, or should they already be there at the time?
Yeah.
I just understand car drop off. I've never had to do car drop off. So I've never had to do it, but I understand it's a big thing. I've seen Mr. Mom, it's south to drop off, moron, all that kind of stuff, but just curious. I hear it's all about drop off. I'm serious. So that's my only question.
Yeah.
And it's north to pick up.
Right, yeah, and you're right. That would be primarily, frankly, you want to stay away from the buildings during drop off and pickup. And that's
I
gonna be
did that for 20-something years with my kids. I mean,
Right. Staff, parking, there really should not be very much interaction or conflict with the drop off during that time period.
okay. All right. Just wanted to ask.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions that are probably more serious than mine?
One question.
Commissioner Ward.
So this is behind the fire station, just to the north and to the west of the fire station?
This is to the north of, yeah, just north of there. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, and Bethany Park, or, I mean.
Bethany Park is out in front
It's
of
gonna
Central.
stay there, and then the school's gonna go behind that. Is that
Correct. And I don't know if it's not shown on this, but there's a health building there that will remain as well. Well, you can kind of see it there at the very south.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Other questions? All right. Seeing none, we'll go to the audience. Anybody want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward. All right, seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wyandotte Planning Department. Staff recommends approval, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. You're going to need two motions. Which one do you want first?
Plat first, please.
All right, so I'll need two motions, starting with the plat. Come on, for the kids.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead,
you want the plat first, correct?
please.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve plat 2025-032, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve plat 2025-032 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Easterwood. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you. And now I'll entertain one on the plan review application.
I make a motion to approve plan review 2025-033, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve plan review application 2025-033 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Armstrong. Again, correct?
Easterwood.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong, Aye. Ernst,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Your plat is approved. Your plan review will be heard once again December 4th before the Board of Commissioners at 7 p.m. Thank you, Doug. Tell your lovely wife I said hello.
Will, thank you.
Our last item for tonight is an ordinance reducing minimum area requirements and expanding type and use of buildings found in the regulations of the several residential zoning districts.
Yes, sir. You're our last one this evening. Thanks for your patience. I'm glad it was a shorter one.
Say patience, this is amazing for a planning commission.
We moved it tonight.
I appreciate that. I'm Alan Howes, Assistant County Administrator, and here to bring a presentation. And this presentation is a companion to the memo that was outlined in the agenda packet. And what this really provides is information and options that stem from a request by our Mayor Garner to bring options to this planning commission based on a conversation in the October 2nd full commission meeting. I know Mr. Ward was there till the wee hours for that meeting, and it's been in a lot of these conversations as well. And looking at homelessness, and there's a lot of conversation around the need for shelter and the need for short-term approaches to it. There's also a longer-term approach which deals with housing and how do we get people into more permanent shelters. There's a lot of information that is in this and that was in the memo that you all received, and it's not, just to be clear, these are not staff recommendations. It hasn't been sort of fully vetted through a process, but at the request of the mayor saying, hey, what could we do with the zoning code that would allow for different sizes units, different price points in units? Please bring that forward. And so that is the reflected in the information in the packet and what you will see here this evening. Clicker.
My computer's restarting, unfortunately.
Or what? Your computer what? Froze up?
My computer's restarting itself.
Boy, happening right around review time too. Boy, not good, Byron. For those of you online, we had a computer issue here in the chambers. We're working on it right now, see if we can get switched over to a different computer. Rose, you're going to try? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Great.
right, here we
Thank
go.
you, Rose.
Can you see it online?
Online, can you see the screen? All right, great. Thank you.
Okay, so the information here gives you a snapshot of homelessness numbers over the last 4.5 years. And you can see that the numbers have climbed. They sort of peaked in 2023. They've come down a little bit, but still remain high. And then year-to-date numbers, this was back from September-ish. So those we think will come in probably similar to 2024. So we have this consistent and persistent challenge. As Mr. Ward knows, in business districts, this is really a challenge for our downtown revitalization and for our other commercial corridors. The public realm issues that come along with this, and again, attracting and retaining businesses that want to be in those corridors. And there is a significant cost to taxpayers around the cleanups, around police and fire calls for service, around structure fires that we deal with. You heard earlier on the 601 Minnesota Avenue, the building that was right next to that burned down. So these are real costs that are borne by the taxpayers resulting from this. So again, at the October 2nd commission meeting, Mayor Garner requested that we bring forward these recommendations. Next slide. So this is a map that KCK PD put together. This is 2024 a heat map of the calls for service that they received around homeless investigation. So this is probably the sort of the most general map of the calls that indicate someone is calling about homelessness. And you can see that there's a cluster really east of 635 is where the most significant concentration is, but it also includes areas along State Avenue and then even out around the Legends area. But we do have significant concentrations east of 635. Next slide. So how does that tie in with the zoning code? And the zoning code, as you all are well aware, the last full update was in 1984. There is an effort underway via the planning department to do a comprehensive zoning code rewrite that is going to go into 26 and 27 and looking at all aspects of it. But it's just worth noting that the current zoning code around residential is highly prescriptive. It does have all these things in here that you can see: minimum lot size, square footage requirements, setback requirements, parking requirements, and it largely prohibits these backyard cottages or ADUs as currently constructed. One of the things in talking with service providers is that the code has made it more difficult, in some cases not possible, to do transitional housing and to put people into those transitional housing units because of these requirements that you see above. So there is a direct sort of correlation or tie between what is in the zoning code and what people are able to do by right, and the ability to put people that need additional support into units. The current code makes it harder to build smaller units or to mix units of different sizes. So when we think about the code, it's really talking about these minimums. So it's not saying you have to build to X square footage or X lot size or setbacks, but it's saying that is the minimum. So the current construct of it does make it much harder to do these kind of mixes where you might have what we consider full-size units alongside of smaller units, and having that mix of different types within the same development. And then the last point around seeking variances and changing those designations injects that uncertainty for the applicant and injects time and cost. There's staff costs associated with that. There's development costs associated with that. So the more sort of by right that developers have and can see line of sight towards, the easier, quicker, and cheaper they can get units constructed and built. Next slide. So in terms of the policy options for planning commission consideration, there is pretty well-established research that links housing supply, affordability, and homelessness. This is been again looked at nationally in all kinds of different housing markets. There was information in the memo that was provided that provided additional resources and citations should people desire to look more into that. And it's also clear that there are policy changes that can create housing types at different price points. Again, this is the experience of other communities as well. And when we think about the challenges that we have around resource constraints and housing policy, policy is the cheapest, lowest cost way to address homelessness. There are pretty expensive ways to try and address homelessness around providing, deeply affordable units and, lots of other variety of ways that we can invest in addressing homelessness, but the policy lever is one that is available and is low cost. Due to the map that we showed you earlier in terms of homeless service calls, the options that you'll see here tonight focus on the kind of what we call the original city east of I-635 and that original city kind of structure, the way that those areas were laid out. And again, the 4 areas around the zoning code options to address homelessness deal with how do you have smaller, lower cost units? How do you allow for more transitional housing? How do you allow for permanent supportive housing? This is the Eden Village model when we think of permanent supportive housing, where they're creating spaces that people will be in and can be in for a very long time. But they are small units on permanent foundations. And again, overall kind of more housing supply. So when we think of the musical chairs analogy around housing and homelessness, when there's a limited, finite amount of housing supply, when something happens to somebody, they lose a job or whatever, when the music stops, if there's not enough housing to go around, then people fall out and then people fall into homelessness. And so that's just one of the ways of having overall more supply at all different kinds of price points opens up and reduces the possibility of people falling into homelessness. And that, again, has been the policy research that has linked those those variables together. What those options don't do, they don't look at suburban R1 single family zoning. There's a significant portion of the community that is zoned R1 single family. That is not what the options touch. And really that R1, those designations came at a later date in the city's history and growth patterns. And so this east of 635 is really the pre-World War II structure of the city and the streets and the grid and the layout. Got a lot of 25-foot lots, those sorts of things that kind of run into conflict with the current zoning code as it's laid out. I guess the other point I'll make just on that one is that when we think about homelessness, we often think about people that have mental illness, people that have substance abuse, and I just want to be clear that housing doesn't solve those issues, but having a place for people to have a roof over their head, is putting them in a safer spot and also reducing kind of that disorder in the public realm by giving people a place to stay. And there's also a kind of a reverse causation, again, on the research where people that fall into homelessness now are much higher risk for mental illness and for substance abuse. And that's not necessarily how they got to homelessness, but by being homeless, they become much more at risk for those behaviors. So that's, again, one of those things about how do we keep people housed, how do we keep them from falling into homelessness. All right, next one. So changes to some of these existing zoning designations. Keep going, Rose. So these backyard cottages or accessory dwelling units, I think you all are probably familiar with that. These are smaller residential units that are on the same lot as a home. They have a separate entrance. They have a kitchen and a bathroom. They are essentially a fully functioning apartment unit. Right now in KCK, they're only allowed to be part of a new build using narrow lot design guidelines. And so there's a very, very kind of narrow area in which ADUs can be built under the zoning code. And as a result, we just don't have very many. There's just people can't really build to them. So if you go to the next slide. So again, only above garages units on narrow lot new homes. So there are 6 units here, different types of ADUs that are common kind of across the country. You have detached, you have ADUs that are attached but separate. You have ones that are interior to a unit or a basement apartment. You have them that are above a garage, and you have these garage conversions. And of these 6, none of those are currently allowed in the existing zoning code. The closest one you would get would be that above garage one in the bottom middle, if it was a separated garage from the house, so that was physically separated. Yeah. So what does it look like when you look at other cities that have ADU ordinances and allow for this? The International Residential Code has a minimum square footage for a habitable unit as 150 square feet. You see that's the minimum for cities both in our close proximity as well as other cities around the country that have legalized ADUs. And then the maximum ADU size, there's a little more variety on this, and it can sometimes be square footage, just square footage. It can be a percentage of the dwelling, the principal dwelling unit, percentage of the living area of the dwelling unit. So there are different sort of ways to slice and dice that. And in the language that was put together as an option here would be a minimum of 220 square feet and less than 1,000 square feet or 30% of the required yard. Or 50% of the principal dwelling. And again, just presented, these are a set of options. If you want to look and see what other places are doing, this is how they've approached it. And in some places have seen a significant uptake in the use of ADUs as additional housing. It's also worth noting that ADUs, they are basically relying on the same infrastructure. So when we also talk about housing, you have the same sewer line running down the street. You got the same electrical feeder lines running down the street. And so by making more use of that existing infrastructure, you're reducing the per unit cost on that infrastructure. And I know we all recognize the challenge of aging infrastructure and the costs associated with replacing that aging infrastructure. So that's one of the ways that we can utilize the existing infrastructure sort of more productively, if you will. Okay, next. So outlined in the memo, as some of these options, it could be set up so it was similar to garage standards. It could replace or be independent of a garage. It could be 30% of the, I'm blanking on that one. What's that? Rear yard.
Rear yard.
Thank you. Or 1,000 square feet, whichever is less. And then the ADU, no more than 30% of the entire lot, or 1,000 square feet, or 50% of the habitable space. And then the idea of not being taller than the main house so that you're not overshadowing or kind of, messing too much with the view and the neighborhood character. And again, lots of different flavors of this and lots of different places that have wrestled with this issue. Next slide. There's also junior ADUs, and essentially what these are within the structure. So you think of the in-law suite in the basement of a house or in the back of a house that has a separate entrance, a separate exterior entrance, but also has an interior entrance to the primary structure. So again, a lot of cities have looked at these sort of junior ADUs and legalizing those. And what this is essentially you're allowed to have a little kitchenette area and you have a full bathroom and a bedroom and in a structure. And right now, you can't, under our zoning code, have a full kitchen. You can have a kitchen, you can have a second kitchen in a house because then you fall into the duplex or category. And so you're no longer in R1, you're no longer in the current zoning area. And then for junior ADUs, also having the primary structure be owner occupied. And again, thinking of this more as the in-law suite type of setup. Okay, next. So we're going to parking minimums here, and some of these options, as you all recall, you all passed and the full commission supported the moratorium on commercial parking minimums and up to 6 units on multi mixed use facilities. So, we just said, well, does that work for residential, up to 6, the first 6 units in a residential development? Does it make sense to align those two things as a possible option for consideration? So that's kind of what we did in looking at the residential parking side. It does allow for smaller, more affordable units, allows for matching kind of the demand for parking to the project, because there are projects like the former YMCA over here, just right next, close to City Hall. That's a senior living facility. The amount of parking you're going to have for residents of a facility like that is likely going to be different than it would be for a set of apartments where you've got, you know, two working age folks who are going off. So again, by reducing or eliminating the requirement, it allows the developer to match to the parking requirements that they think for the project to be successful. And all that does is also is pull costs out of the project, because parking is not free, it's not cheap to build. So there is a cost for each of those parking spaces. All right, next slide. So another option that other cities are doing now is allowing residential and commercial areas. Go ahead, Rose. It's a little hard to see, but this is a map that shows C0, C1, C2, and C3 designations. And so you can see the different parcels across the city that are designated in these categories. And conceptually, the idea is allowing for residential development to take place on commercial corridors. So if it's zoned for commercial, then is it appropriate to allow for some residential to develop along that same corridor? And again, if you go to the next slide, it's a little bit of a kind of a back to the future, if you will, where, you know, if you go down some of our older commercial corridors, you'll see the fourplex or the sixplex, you know, along those corridors mixed in with the commercial, mixed in with the storefront with a unit above it. So it's just that, you know, that's how the city grew up, and this would go back to allowing for that, kind of matching the different types of residential units, R3 townhomes, R4 garden apartments, R5 apartments, to the different types and intensities of the commercial activity that is allowed in those corridors. So allowing that multifamily residential to exist sort of side by side with the commercial activity. And I think, as you all know, we certainly have available space and parcels along some of our commercial corridors where if we could get people there, if we could get physical units and headcount in there, that also then supports the commercial that we want to see along there as well. And then I guess the last point I'll make on that is that, you know, when we think about the financial sort of the finances of the city, one of the things that we think about a lot is those commercial corridors, because in those commercial corridors, you know, commercial property is in the state of Kansas is taxed at twice the rate of residential property. So the healthier those commercial corridors are, the less burden that places on residents for the paying for the services, police, fire, sheriff, all those things that we all need in the city. So really thinking about this in the context of how do you have those commercial corridors be as vibrant as they possibly can, because it has long-term financial implications for the city and the residents. Okay. So this is the R5 zoning district map, and kind of interesting because you see a significant concentration of it in the Northeast, see a significant concentration of it in Rosedale area, and then sort of a smattering of it in different parts along the state and parallel avenue corridors. Sure there's a history as to why there's concentrated group of that up in the Northeast. I don't know that history, but that's what we see on the maps for the zoning district R5. Next slide. So what would some of those options look like for R5? And it could look like taking what's today the minimum lot size of 1,500 square feet per dwelling unit down to 1,200 square feet per dwelling unit. It could look like reducing the open space requirements that are currently set at 40% of the parcel You could reduce that to 30%. You could set it up so that there's sort of bonus density, if you will, where you can get down even to 20% of a parcel if you're within 1/8 of a mile of a park, so that you've got access to that open space and that green space. So maybe you don't need as much in the actual development itself. And again, lots of ways to sort of slice and dice this, but these are some of the options that Planning Commission could consider. Reducing the minimum square footage of the actual units from 380 down to 200. And again, not saying that all those units have to be 200, but it gives the option of having that mix in with the development. And then you could also look at the height change as another way to additionally add density, add units, and reduce the cost per unit for that particular parcel. Next. So in terms of setbacks for R5, so currently it's 10 feet from the property line on the side, it's 25 feet from the front, and it's 25 feet from the corner and from the rear. So, significant setbacks for each parcel that is zoned for R5. And if you think about some of those parcels that we were looking at in the Northeast, by the time you sort of bake in those different setbacks, you're not working with much, if anything, in terms of the actual what's left on that parcel size. So by reducing those setbacks, you're giving more flexibility to the development and the developer to fit a project onto a parcel and to make that work. Same thing with parking, having one parking space per dwelling unit after the first sort of 6 units. And if the parking is provided, then it has to meet the existing current parking standards. You could look at options around landscaping to try and address any concerns or issues that might exist in terms of how that fits into a neighborhood and into parcel. But reducing those setbacks could have significant impact in terms of the ability of how many units you can get into a parcel and what kind of design choices a developer can make on those parcels. All right, next. So this is the Garden Apartments District, RP4. This one, there's really not a whole lot when you look at the map, and there's probably 10, if that, that are zoned as garden apartment units. This is one, if we go to the next slide, where actually in talking with Eden Village, and this was what their preferred category was when they want to build their projects. They weren't able to use R4, so they ended up going into the mobile home category. But they're kind of envisioning the type of projects they do. They're smaller units, so they're 400 square foot units. They're on fixed foundations, and it is kind of in alignment with this idea of the garden apartment district. So again, what do those options look like? They could look like a lot of things. They could look like reducing the minimum lot size from 3,000 per dwelling unit to 2,000 per dwelling unit. And then for infill development, saying if the lot size is under 1 acre, then it could be 1,600 square feet per dwelling unit on a lot size. Same thing with the space requirements for open space. Currently, that's 40% of the parcel has to remain open space. You could look at how do you reduce that? How do you get more units on a particular parcel? And can you cluster units in a way that, within the design of a development that allowed you to aggregate green space in a way that made it more useful rather than just having kind of wide areas around each of the buildings, having more of a central courtyard or a play area or something like that. Again, lots of things to sort of consider in this. Reducing those minimum square footage from 380 down to 200, and then height. You could look at what are the current height limits on that. It's 2.5 stories or 35 feet. Is that something where it makes sense to look at what does a higher, a 4-story or a 50-foot height limit look like in that context? Next. And thinking about setbacks, going from the side setbacks, going from a required 10-foot to down to 0. I should say that on the side setbacks, one of the things that really governs that is the fire code. And so on a number of these, we said, well, if the fire code is establishing what the side setback is, and that really is a fire life safety thing because you don't want fires to jump from building to building, the fire code says you have to be 10 feet away. You can have a normal building, normal construction if you're 10 feet away or further. Once you start getting closer to that, the standards then increase in terms of flammability and fire resistance on those buildings. So in a sense, the fire code is already determining how close you can be and then what the safety is. So what our thought was in kind of chewing on this was, do we need to set side setbacks in the zoning code, or do we let the fire code govern that? And then look at what does that mean for setbacks in terms of the front and the corner, because that has more to do with how the building fits with the neighborhood and what you can do with that lot. So you'll see that as we go through here in a couple different places. So again, reducing the front setbacks, reducing corner and rear setbacks, adjusting parking, and looking at landscaping. So all of those are options to think about that would allow for lower priced units and more units in a particular area. Next. So currently we have 2 areas that are zoned R3 for townhouses. So again, not a heavy use of this particular zoning district. And we weren't looking at touching the maps and what goes where, but just in terms of looking at the different categories and what those look like. Go to the next page. So there are some significant, again, requirements baked into the zoning code now. The minimum lot size for townhomes is 1 acre. So you could reduce that to something like 4,000 square feet per dwelling unit. Or from 4,000 down to 1,400, you could reduce the square footage for a particular townhome. You could change the height. What we did when we looked at some of these was there's language in there that says it's 2.5 stories for the height. And so that's equivalent of 35 feet. So to sort of simplify and to give more flexibility to developers, you could say, well, let's just set it at 35 feet. And maybe that's 2.5 stories, maybe that's 3 stories, depending on how they construct their project. And then again, looking at parking, looking at landscape. Next. And again, those setbacks, sort of same thing, same idea on the side setbacks and the fire code, reducing the front setbacks so that people have the option, again, not required, but you have the option if you wanted to kind of put those townhomes up close to the street, which is again, a kind of a traditional building form for townhomes, reducing the corner setbacks and reducing the rear setbacks. Okay. R2B, this is the duplex designations. So quite a significant kind of amount of these in the Northeast and Armourdale and in Rosedale and Argentine. So go to the next one here. Again, what do that look like? What are those options? Minimum lot size, reducing that minimum lot size down from 25 to 700 or whatever that number is, reducing the minimum lot width from 50 feet to 25 feet. And thinking about duplexes, there's several different typologies of duplexes. If you think about a side-by-side duplex, that's probably makes sense for a 50-foot wide lot. If you think about a top, duplex that's stacked, you got one unit on the bottom, one unit on the top, those can be indistinguishable from a single-family home and maybe not need a 50-foot wide lot. And we've got a lot of those lots that were in that map there are not 50-foot wide lots, but they're zoned R2B. So you wouldn't be able to do that on those particular lots the way this is currently written. To look at what that minimum square footage requirements are, and again, looking at what the height requirements are. Next. And same thing down on the setbacks, looking at what those side, front, corner, and rear setbacks are and what makes sense for the size of the parcels that we find a lot of those R2B designations at. Next. So R2, again, another duplex designation, significant amount of those in kind of running along 18th Street. And so if we were kind of to juxtapose that with the R2B map, you'd see a lot of those were kind of very close together with each other, and the R5 designation as well in the northeast. So that's again where those R2 districts are. Next slide. And again, similarly, you could reduce the minimum lot size, which is 2,500 square feet per dwelling unit down to 700 or some number. Reduce the minimum lot width for duplexes. Currently, it's for R2, it's set at 75 feet. You could reduce that down to 30. You could, again, have that side by side versus sort of up and down front back duplex structure, and then reducing the minimum square footage as well. Next. And again, side setbacks going down and allowing the fire setbacks to govern that, reducing the front, the corner, and the rear setbacks to allow for more flexibility in the usage of the parcel itself. All right, next. So single family R1B, again, a significant portion of that throughout the kind of traditional city east of 635. See a number of these kind of parcels. Next. Currently, the minimum lot size for R1B is 5,000. So you think of a 50 by 100 lot, that's 5,000. A whole bunch of those lots on that map are going to be 25-foot wide lots that are probably 100, maybe 120, maybe 140 feet deep. So what's allowable under there isn't necessarily could come into conflict, I guess, in a way with the zoning code. So what does that look like if you reduce the minimum lot size requirements for R1B, reducing the minimum lot width, minimum square footage? You can have narrow lot design guidelines as kind of optional. Talking staff around how do you kind of protect the integrity of the neighborhood so you don't have a bunch of cheap stuff just thrown in there. That's kind of that is what the narrow lot design guidelines were aiming at doing. So there are things that could be done like adding 50-year siding requirements or those sorts of things. So kind of increase the baseline quality of units while still allowing for those smaller units to be constructed on the lots that currently exist. And again, on the height, going to equivalent height, but instead of saying it in stories, saying it in feet. And again, a lot of this on the R1B, on the R2B, on the R5 is really legalizing the city that currently exists and the parcels that are already there, and what people are allowed to do with those parcels. All right, next. Side setbacks for R1B is now 10%. So you could go down to 3 feet, you could end to 0. You could let the fire govern that setback. The front setback for R1B is 25 feet. So that could be reduced down to 10. You could have the corner setback reduced. You could have a rear setback reduced. One of the things that staff mentioned in this was that one of the variances that comes up is around for allowing for front porches. And so the front setback and the rear setback and the tightness of the setbacks kind of can create a situation where the developer's trying to maximize the livable square footage. And so they sacrifice, in a sense, the front porch for that livable square footage, or they have to come and seek a variance in order to get a more usable front porch. So having changes like this would free up additional space and actually allow for builders to put in more of that front porch, and which has benefits for a neighborhood and for neighborhood cohesion. Next. So we have a couple of slides in here just on case studies. I'm not going to go through these in detail. I know when we were here last talking to the Planning Commission about some of the changes that came out of the Business Development Task Force, one of the questions was, hey, well, who else has done this? What does this look like in other places? Provided, again, some of that information in the memo, but also wanted to just show you that there are, again, a number of cities that are going through this process or have gone through this process. Probably the most, one that's gotten the most sort of press about it is Minneapolis, which several years ago redid their citywide plan allowed duplexes, triplexes citywide. They eliminated parking minimums. They were out in front for a lot of places. And there's been now enough time that they've actually been able to measure and see that there's been enough new housing built that their rents actually decreased at the lowest rate of any metro area, I believe, in the country, because that new housing supply came on and alleviated the supply constraint that is driving up pricing in lots and lots of different metro areas, including Kansas City. Other places like Austin that have seen that kind of run up in prices and that really tightly constrained supply have taken steps to open up more areas for more density. Buffalo, New York, probably more similar to KCK in that it's an older city that kind of struggles financially. And one of the things that they did to try and begin to address that over the long term is to loosen up some of the zoning code restrictions that they had in place to support additional housing and rooftops, as well as additional commercial development. So they're an interesting one. Same with South Bend, Indiana, and another smaller mid-sized city in the Midwest that has gone through this evolution as well. Columbus, Ohio, Salt Lake City. Next. Again, I won't go through these in detail, but you've got a number of other ones: Denver, Boise, Charlottesville, Seattle, Portland, Sacramento. Get into a pretty long list of places that are doing this in some form, fashion, looking at it in totality or looking at it in different pieces and sort of biting off smaller pieces as they go, and trying to get to a place where they can bring more housing supply on and allow for the market to begin to really help to address the issues around housing affordability. And ultimately, sort of to bring it full circle, that is where this came in the first place, was issues around homelessness. And when there's not enough housing supply and the affordability pushes people out of what they can afford, then they could fall out of the housing market altogether, end up homeless. And now we've got a much more expensive problem to try and tackle, one that has all kinds of other sort of negative implications for the people as well as for the community. Last slide. So that's it for the presentation. And again, this is sort of a companion to the memo that was provided in the agenda packet, and wanted to, at the mayor's request, give you all, here's options. You know, if you all wanted to consider this, there is the zoning code rewrite that's in progress. So there's a lot of activity. I think it's going to be happening over the next 18 to 24 months around that. You got a new members of the elected body that are coming on the commission here in a couple of weeks, I guess, now. So what you all choose to do with this information, which wanted to staff present that to you, give you the options, and give you some ideas, some food for thought, really, as to how housing ties in with homelessness and how it can be part of the long-term solution to addressing homelessness. Happy to stand for any questions.
All right, thank you. Questions for the Assistant County Administrator? I have a couple, of course, being in real estate. Have we had proposals that have come to us that we weren't able to act on, or have we had developers come to us that because of the current code, we couldn't work with them?
Byron's
And head shaking, yes.
I could say the person behind me in the audience would agree to that. Yeah, we've had multiple over the years. I mean, I've been here for a while, but yeah, we've had developments that have come through at least our desk. We've had meetings, pre-application meetings and things like that to discuss projects, and they've stopped there because our zoning code's kind of been a little rigid.
Because I know at one point when out in the Piper area, the T.E. Woods development was very similar with the garden apartments, the ADUs, the rear street parking, the live and work areas where there were retail or some sort of, commercial on the bottom,
Right.
housing on top. Of course, that's when the recession hit and
2008,
all the
yeah.
money went away, and there's just a bunch of roads and weeds out there now. But that would have been an exciting test case to see what we could have done.
That was the test case for T&D zoning specifically. That was the impetus for it. Ordinance was created, that was the site, and then recession hits, and then we're sitting with a vacant,
Okay.
Some infrastructure is actually in, but no one's developed it to date.
And then the only other question I have is with regards to parking and automobiles. I mean, limiting the size of the lots, the setbacks, things like that. What do we do with these cars? And then second, I guess the other follow-up is, we already, every month we have these projects come through where we're increasing density and we're not anywhere near what we're talking about here. And we just see lines and lines of people that, are against anything like that. I mean, everybody wants to live, everybody wants affordable housing. Nobody wants to live by it. And so that's another one that we hear all the time. I mean, it's great. We just don't think this is a great area. Then there's been other projects that I've heard about that where they have to go meet with neighborhood activists to get the go-ahead before they can even go ahead with something. If they don't get somebody's blessing, then they don't get the commission blessing. So do we have to start with a project? Do we have to show that it can be done and it can be successful? Do we have to have the test case to where we can keep going? I mean, what have you seen, or what have you, in talking to these other communities that are doing it, how did they get started?
Well,
Got to start somewhere.
yeah, there's kind of a crawl, walk, run, I think, aspect to that. I think, to be honest, the planning commission and the full commission took that sort of initial step with the parking moratorium on commercial and mixed use, and sort of thinking about, okay, what are the implications for that? When we looked at that in the business development task force, and if you look at a map, and I didn't put it in here, but if you look at a map, and I think I may have had it in the presentation on the parking moratorium of available parking in the downtown area, you see that there's a lot of parking. And so I think how we manage that as it gets into residential areas is where there's a lot of concern from neighborhoods about what are the implications of that. There are different ways to approach that around parking management strategies. And ask staff if they have any thoughts on that one.
Byron, so planning department, I think one thing that it's more of a global policy thing about allowing things more by right. That way you're not having clusters. So I think one of the things that are talked about, at least with when we have a project come through and they say affordable housing, it's usually apartments as opposed to single family or other housing types. And primarily if you allow the mixed income neighborhood to exist naturally, organically, you wouldn't have necessarily concentration of 200 units on a 3-acre lot. You may have it spread over blocks. And so I think there's a misnomer of having affordable housing and being a certain type of design, but also just in general housing typology, when I think if you allow that more by right, again, it organically happens to where you have it in single family, you have it in duplexes, you have it in townhomes, but again, you develop in a manner that it doesn't look like those things. So it's called missing middle housing is what it's called. So that's what is lacking in our code.
And I maybe would add that there's kind of capital A affordable housing. You think of LIHTC, you think of other things that are actually getting financial incentives for affordable housing. And then there's sort of lowercase a affordable housing, which is allowing the market enough flexibility to allow for the market to provide housing, more of the housing needs of the community. And I think, not to editorialize, but in a resource constrained community like ours, compared to other places that are much wealthier, where capital A affordable housing may be kind of the first place they go to, we don't have the depth of resources, and we've got a lot of other needs that are competing for the same dollars. Lowercase sort of affordable housing and allowing our policies to allow the market to provide more of that housing, is consistent with the history of the city. And you look at the size of the lots, you look at the size of the houses, look at any of these neighborhoods, you've got some houses that are 15 feet wide next to houses that are, 30 feet wide, and so on it goes down a block. There's that mix of different housing typologies that allowed for, as Mr. Toy said, the need for housing to be met through the market mechanisms as opposed to the government dollar mechanisms.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Easterwood has a question.
Yes, just clarification on what it is that are we being asked to vote on anything tonight or just
At this
listen?
point, it's my understanding it's informational. It's informational.
Okay. Will there be any public comment on these ideas that are being put forth?
I mean, nothing would stop us from having comment tonight, correct? If we had,
Well, I just meant, will the larger community have an opportunity to comment on?
to weigh in,
Or provide on, yes, correct.
what's the
I
process?
do have some concerns. And one of which you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, which is, parking issues in existing neighborhoods. I mean, there are some neighborhoods that may only be half of the block is developed, but the whole street is taken up by cars. So, and these are houses that are on 25-foot lots. So, I know a lot of attention needs to be given to that potential issue. If these proposals are to be considered. And the next question would be, has Public Works weighed in on any of this to make sure that the infrastructure will allow for this increased density development?
Anyone?
No, we didn't directly talk with Public Works about these specific ones.
This is all conceptual, correct, at this point, or what we can do. And then if that's something we can do, then we would have to look at the other components.
Right.
Right. So the proposed changes may not be what's actually made, just given the fact that it wouldn't work from a public works standpoint or a public safety standpoint. Therein lies the negotiation part, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Other questions or comment? Yes, ma'am. You've been pretty good all night long, so I have to at least allow you to speak.
That's so nice of you. I try to be nice. Ask Chad. I was hanging out with him that one night. So, Rachel Russell, 2640 North 43rd, KCK. I would just want to say to this commission, KCK has been waiting a long time for a zoning update. As you saw, I believe the last one was 1984. Before I was born. And
me too.
For things outside of my control, the last 3 years, this continued conversation has kind of been frustrating. We talk a lot about the continuum of housing from those who are homeless to those who own their own home and need tax relief in order to stay in their homes. But a lot of the issues that we see for, if I had said parents who owned a home, but I don't want to live with my mother, but my mother can live in the backyard, that has not been an option. And while I know the preface of this presentation was to address homelessness, this also addresses a plethora of folks who are aging out of homes who cannot afford them.
Generational.
Going back to what you talked about with the property out in Piper. The one thing that I just want to say in response to those of us who are working poor down to those of us who have limited income, roughly, it is $970 for those individuals that we see on the street with those high cases of mental illness or substance abuse or usage. For those folks, a majority, and the data shows, and I don't have the CHIP data right here in front of me, almost 40% of our community is not commuting via vehicle. And the cause that we're trying to solve, or the Band-Aid we're trying to stop the bleed on top of preventing others from falling into it, most of those folks don't have cars. So removing minimums for affordable housing is not a huge ask, I would say. I would say that generally, if you go to a community that is centered around poverty, and which is not the ideal design either, you'll see a lot of cars with expired tags. You'll see a lot of cars broken down because they don't have the funds to replace or to make those changes. And so I hear Ms. Easterwood, but I want us to go back to data, because people who have 3 or 4 cars, the data is telling me that they have some source of income. It may not be legal source of income, but they got something.
Sure.
And so I just want us to think about how we can use the health data that we have here at the UG to also be the rationale behind why we are making these choices versus perception, which perception can oftentimes be very deceiving. So thank you for allowing me to talk, and I hope you get out of here soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Megan Painter, Director of Neighborhood Development at Build Wyco from 1327 Barnett, which is maybe the first house that used the narrow lot design guidelines to build an ADU. So I own an ADU. It is amazing. It is the most gentle form of density increase out there. No one can really tell that I have a college student living up above my garage. The neighbor kids know because she has a dog, and they just want to visit her dog. And I have told this to a lot of people, it is the most affordable unit we have ever built. It was about $30,000 to build that extra unit onto my house, and then it also provides me stability as well and pays for my insurance and taxes every month. So, and the junior ADUs think is just a genius thing, and I think we'll see a lot of people using that, and especially those who have parents that are aging. This is a problem that we heard of a lot, and people very frustrated that they can't have their own parents live in their homes with them. As someone who has a lot of ADUs in my pipeline coming up, I do have a few concerns with a few of the items within the ADU, so I humbly ask for a meeting about that. But generally, I think that this would be a breath of fresh air to the zoning code, because yes, there have been so many times I've walked away from a project because of our zoning code and not finding a way around these things. But I think to your point, we have an issue with all of the no's that have been said to apartment districts. This is a problem that we have brought upon ourselves because of the NIMBYism and because of minority. It is written in our processes right now that a minority can turn down the majority of people whenever it comes to rezoning, and we need to change that process. And I mean, we lost $250,000 last year because of 7 people, even though we had 77 people for our project. So this is a massive thing, and it's like we are a not-for-profit entity, and other developers are watching. So this is something that really would affect us. And I just really support the rewrite, and the team here is going to be working on that. So otherwise, it's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, since there's no immediate need for business, anybody else have any other comments before we adjourn the meeting? All right, these conversations will continue. We'll be getting more information. At some point, we're going to be making some decisions, so I'll be thinking about this. So thank you all for your time and attention tonight, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.